Nintendo Powercast. I'm your host, N64 Josh, for episode 487. Crawler, what's going on, baby?
Hey, how's it going? Crawler coming at you.
Johnny, how are you?
I'm good. We definitely didn't do this 3 seconds ago.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Well, before we jump into this, you guys, if you are thinking about getting into the content game or you want to step up some of your production, head on over to n64josh.com/Elgato and check out some of the gear Elgato is offering. They announced a massive piece of hardware today that goes into a rack that I don't even know how many buttons that thing had, but it was not like, it looked like you could just do all the things from one nice rack mount, and so just a really like pretty impressive
Might have
product
to sell
overall.
a kidney though.
You might, yeah. It's a little pricey, but it's obviously for a production, like a production house or something along those lines. So maybe a church or something like that. But anyway, most of the gear, like we're all using Elgato gear, you guys. So if you're in the market for anything to up your content creation game, again, n64josh.com/Elgato, and make sure to use code ZZ-N64Josh at checkout. Before we go too much further, Crawler, where can people connect with you?
Best spots to connect with me are on TikTok and Twitter. Nightcrawler724. Nightcrawler is without the E.
And Johnny, how about you?
I'm Johnny Bo everywhere: Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and the Communication Air podcast.
And Cheesy is out tonight, you guys, so make sure to tweet at him and let him know.
Yeah, he's playing like the Great Festival or whatever the heck.
I think so.
The real reason, he's got a lot of stuff going on this week. His sister's getting married, so that's the real reason.
That's what he says. We don't know if we believe it or not.
He just loves turf war.
That's true. Well, you guys saw the icon that I posted, right? That Nintendo.
Yeah, I'm a little jealous because I didn't do that.
Nintendo versus. Well, I didn't get the Smash one. There's two. So,
I checked. I didn't have a Smash. I thought I played. That was maybe a year or so, a while ago. It wasn't this year's version.
Yeah.
I played that.
So apparently, Nintendo's giving away icons for your Nintendo Switch like profile, but you have to participate in these events. So the Mario Kart Championships, the Smash Championships, and I'm honestly wondering if they don't do something with Splatoon. If there's a possibility that this final Splatfest,
Great Fest, or whatever
could have an icon as well. So make sure to jump in and participate in those things, because it was completely out of nowhere. I got an email that said, "Hey, you have an icon, just go hit create and it'll be there." And I was like, okay. I'm like, I know I didn't do Smash. So I was like, if I did one, is it going to give me both? But it only gave me Mario Kart. So, but yeah, what do you guys been, there's a lot to talk about tonight. Like, we don't have to spend too much time on what we've been playing, but I know that you guys have spent some time with Astrobot, which is very much a Nintendo game. And, if you guys are watching, right, you're seeing the Marvel versus Capcom like collection right now on as the B-roll, and we played some indies.
Iron Meat.
Yeah, Iron Meat, which is coming out in about 2 weeks. Which, if you are a fan of Contra, you need to play that game. And I think I'm gonna get somebody tied to that game on the show here to talk about Iron Meat and some of the other games that we saw at PAX, which was extensive. But we'll get into that after we discuss what we've been playing this week. Crawler, let's kick it off. What you been gaming on?
A lot of Astrobot this last week. Johnny beat it. I'm a little bit further behind. But yeah, it's definitely got some Mario Galaxy vibes. Going from one kind of planetoid to another and collecting the bots as you go. It's got a lot of PlayStation references that a lot of it go over my head that I'm not brushed up on my PlayStation history, but it's fun puzzle platforming a little bit. It's got some good chaotic, like one shot kind of one life all the way through kind of short challenges that are fun and challenging. Johnny posted a clip of him being frustrated with one.
That wasn't me. I mean, I played that level, but
that wasn't your clip.
That wasn't my clip. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then I downloaded Marvel vs. Capcom last night. Played a little bit today. There's a lot to be had in there. I think we haven't tried online play yet, but it should be fun. Josh and I played on the show floor at PAX with this game, and makes me want to kind of get a fight stick just for the old arcadey feel. What else have I been playing? A little bit of Fortnite, but not my. I hit my 100 level, but I want to get to 200 to get all the rewards. But I got till November for that, and then I had to re-download a bunch of stuff on my Switch because I got a 1 terabyte memory card, and that I tried transferring stuff, and that didn't take, and so I just ended up having my Switch.
It's just easier to download it.
Just had it re-download a ton of stuff. So all my icons are messed up and out of order now, but I have the folders and stuff that I have a lot of the stuff in, so that's good to be able to go find stuff. And then I updated Splatoon today, so there's the Great Fest. I played a little bit of Big Run last weekend. There was a crazy amount of, I don't even know what we were collecting, shells or something for Mr. Grizz. We collected like 1.5 billion, like something crazy stupid. But yeah, lots of games.
Oh yeah.
And playing Iron Meat a little bit.
Johnny, how about you?
Yeah, I've been playing Astrobot for the most part. I did beat it. I don't beat many games, so I have like games that deserve to be beat. Genre, I guess a few genres. It's 3D platformers, Zelda, and From Software games. Everything else doesn't necessarily deserve to be beaten. That's why I don't beat them. But I did beat Astrobot because it falls into 3D platformer. It's essentially Super Mario Galaxy 3. Like if you're looking for a Galaxy game, or if you're wanting Galaxy 3, just play Astrobot. I don't think it's as good as Mario. Maybe that's fanboying, but I don't think the platforming's as unique, especially for Galaxy.
I like the abilities, though.
Yeah, the abilities are cool. However, a lot of the abilities are just like Mario power-ups, like the
balloon and the rocket and the water, like the water rubber ducky thing. The sponge was unique, though.
Yeah, the sponge was. I forget what was the one that was just a complete ripoff of a Galaxy power. Oh, it was the one that was like the cloud power up. Oh, I know what it was. I don't know. I don't remember what
the balloon inflatable one. That one.
Well, there's that one, but then there's also one where you like make platforms. It's just essentially the cloud from Mario Galaxy.
I got you.
Not only is it a ripoff of Super Mario Galaxy, it is also a Pikmin ripoff.
And arms.
Little bots.
No, in the hub world or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, you're collecting the bots, and you pretty much use them to do things that Pikmin would do. And even the noise, like when you go to the hub world, and the noise when they pop out, that's just the Pikmin noise. When you pluck a Pikmin, it's the same noise.
Their little clickety clack of their feet running around behind you.
And it's also a ripoff of Super Mario Sunshine because of the hover ability. It's just
the first thing I thought as soon as I saw it. I was like, "Oh, that is." I mean, I said it right when you jumped in, Carl. I was like, "That is Sunshine right there."
Yeah, we're on a Nintendo podcast, so I could be a fanboy. Everybody's praising Astrobot. It is fun. It is good. I actually beat it, but it's just like every Nintendo game ever made. Like everybody's like, "Oh, Sony should take a hint and do more games like this." And it's like Nintendo does this every single time they release a game.
We're going to talk about that later tonight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's.
Well, I will. like I did enjoy my time with it, but it's not as good as Mario, and it's just a Nintendo game. And then I also picked up the Marvel vs. Capcom collection. I was just playing that a little bit before starting, and just watching the game. Like I have the Twitch pulled up, watching the gameplay. Like the graphics are so good.
Mm-hmm.
Like
they hold up.
The pixel art, it just looks so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I remember being a kid in the arcade playing these games, and it was so much fun. And you just get to feel like a superhero
and stuff in there.
Yeah,
like Spider-Man's like, my Spidey sense is tingling.
Berserker Barrage.
Right. Yeah. I'm the best there is at what I do.
He clangs his claws at the end and is like tough chance bub or something like that.
There was a Marvel versus Capcom. What's it called? Infinite? Yeah, a few years ago. Like that was the most recent
they
one.
tried to bring it back and it wasn't as well received.
Mm-hmm.
I would love for them to do it again.
Wanted.
But like HD 2 or not, just like HD hand drawn art would be good.
I'm trying to remember what the problem was with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite or whatever. I don't know if Disney maybe didn't give as many characters as people wanted, or I don't remember what the discourse was around it.
Yeah, I just know that people didn't like it. People just wanted Marvel vs. Capcom 2. That's all people wanted.
And Josh and I talked to the guys at Capcom on the PAX floor, and this is not the Dreamcast version; it is the arcade version. So it's feeling good playing it.
Yeah, it looks good. I wish we would get more. We haven't had like a Marvel fighting game in a long time.
Yeah, and Josh and I were just talking. I want the side scrollers to come back from Genesis era, because there's a fun. It's what, X-Men 2?
X-Men 2 on Genesis is fantastic.
Yeah,
way better than what we got on Super Nintendo. That's for sure.
Yep.
There must be some licensing issues.
You just got to pay Disney money, which DirecTV and Disney don't want to do right now. So that's fun, being a DirecTV subscriber.
Oh, the other game that I did want to mention that I played a little bit of is Bakaru. Bakaru. I don't know how to say it. It's that game that was only. It's that good feel game that was only in Japan for a while, and then they brought it over. It's really good. Like it's surprisingly better than I was expecting. It's another like 3D platformer that I feel like it's not getting that much fanfare when you look at Astrobot, but there's some really fun levels in there.
I downloaded Peglin as well.
Oh yeah, Peglin's good.
I don't really understand what I'm doing in that game with some of those power-ups, but
it's just whatever, and then
just make the ball go clang clang clang, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's just dopamine hits the game.
Probably may want to turn your camera off and on again because it looks like it is frozen. It'll mess our cams up for a second, but at least you're not making a silly face. You look happy while you're sitting there on.
Did you make this scene in OBS? That's pretty impressive.
I did, yeah. So,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, still frozen. Hopefully it comes back. We're doing it live, you guys. So,
I need to deactivate it.
We so I spent some time playing some Iron Meat, which I thought was fantastic. I mean, just if you love Contra, you will love Iron Meat. No question there. If I also picked up, as you can see, Marvel on screen right now, and this is from my gameplay. So much fun. Like this. There is something so nostalgic about this. Like these games are as nostalgic for me as Super Nintendo games. Like it just, I adored these games back in the day. Like absolutely adored them. So, really, really glad to see this make its way to the the Switch. Cryptic was asking about the netcode. I only assume it's decent because it's Capcom. If it was other companies, but like I know we've played Street Fighter over their
Mhm.
with their netcode, and it
And
has not
this
been
just came out
bad.
yesterday. We haven't really had a chance to try it out.
Apparently, so what's his face? What's the guy's the big fighting game creator? I don't know his name, but he said that the Switch version of these games is really good. So I'm assuming he means the netcode as well.
Good to know.
Yeah, I mean, I think on the show floor, I think they had PlayStation at the Capcom booth. I think they had all PlayStations running everything. Josh and I got to go behind closed doors with Nintendo, and they had a few kiosks set up in the room that we were with, and they had Marvel vs. Capcom on one of them, so we got to play it on Switch as well. And I didn't notice a difference on the two. Did you?
No, other than we
Yeah.
just fought with a fight stick on one of them. That was the
Mhm.
biggest difference. So it they all ran well, it seemed like. So
And
but
we braved the line for Monster Hunter. We can talk about that later too. But
Yeah, so they got up to like 4 hours or something.
it was we
10,
got
10.
we got kind of lucky. I've gambled
10?
with my flight.
Yeah.
So if one game is going to benefit from a PlayStation 5 Pro, it's going to be that game, because it was probably also the dev build out of it. It would we stood in front of that booth for what, probably 2.5 hours, and watched it crash on the one screen that they were putting up, what, 3 or 4 times probably.
Yeah.
Because it's running on Switch too.
This build we were playing on at PAX was on a PS5, but
yeah, it was
it looks good. It felt like Rise, but just looked a lot better and bigger.
Yep. Yeah. Looked fantastic. Like really, really good. A lot of fun to play too. So yeah, and it's like I've done some Mario Kart streams. Haven't done a ton of gaming, but the little bit that I've done's been nice. I feel like I've just been watching and talking about Echoes of Wisdom more than anything. Like I am so pumped for that game.
I got 2 weeks left.
I know.
2 weeks left.
I'm ready. So, well, we kind of been we haven't talked much about what we did at PAX other than like Mario Party. So I thought it would be a good time just to kind of go through a handful of the games that we played. Johnny, if you end up having any questions for us about what we played or what we saw or anything like that, please feel free to ask. But like one of the things we did was called the Mix, which is a I think I know Epic Games, I believe, paid for everybody's first drink when you
sponsored it.
Yeah. So a ton of indie game developers. We got to go hands on with a number of games. Rugrats was there, which I know just came out on the Switch, and I believe that was their
Silent Bob game coming out here pretty soon. Yes,
Jay and Silent Bob, Toxic Crusader, and these were all retroware games, which is what Iron Meat is a retroware game also. And so that's where we first played. We played Iron Meat, then talked to Justin, who was like, "Hey, these are the games I'm helping put out," and so and then John Riggs was there. He was creating some content right by the Toxic Crusader setup as well. And so just so many good games, so many devs from around the world, like not just here in the States. Like there were some people that traveled a long way, and we did
that Hades like game. They were from like Austria or something like that, right?
And that was a sequel, if I remember correct, right? Wasn't that the
forget the name of that one. That one's not coming out till like what they said, like 26 or something like that.
It was a ways away.
It's a ways away. But go. Do you want to talk about it?
Well, I want to I want to see if I can find it.
Find the name of it.
Yeah.
So I'll talk about it a little bit. It's a Hades like, so it's a roguelite, but you get these power ups and you have a power chain kind of going down with these abilities, and all of them can play off each other. So you can have like ability that splits into 3, so it splinters off. So you can do that initially in your like first part of your tree, and so it can split everything off into 3s, or you can put it later on. So as you build up your ability and it gets multiple kind of add-ons to it, then it splits off into 3. And you can have stuff that like combusts or fire or poison or just all sorts of crazy stuff. And they had a dev debug mode running that they could then just go to the side and pull out any of the abilities that they wanted to kind of show off. Josh challenged the dev to kind of put the most chaos on the screen that he could for that TikTok. So if you're kind of looking for some gameplay, go scroll through Josh's TikTok and YouTube, because he's got a decent amount of stuff from the mix on there.
I'll find the name of it there. That's where I'm going to go check right now.
Yeah,
that'll have the name.
So
of the game.
it looks really good, but the only disappointing part was that it's coming out in like 2026 is what they said. And then we played another one downstairs, was like a Celeste like game, and I think all these games were on the show floor. At least I know this. It was started with a T on that Celeste one.
Tethergeist.
Tethergeist, and so it definitely had some Celeste vibes. This everyone in this world has like this teleport ability to kind of leave their body, but then their body follows where their kind of spirit goes, and they can go however far they want in the world. But the character that you play as is playing with a disability, and her like teleport thing can't go quite as far, and you get to kind of angle where you want to go. There's different elemental kind of teleports that you can do. So you have to like, there's some of the challenges where you have to preload these abilities, and you kind of have to look at what you're going to have to phase through or challenge, like the different elemental areas that you're trying to get through with the platforming, and kind of preload it. And then it's all just a matter of execution, and it's very tight on the controls, and it played really well. And I think that one's coming out here sooner than the other ones that we were talking about, but
not on Switch. That was just coming to Steam.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it's coming to Steam first.
And I think I loaded that. I need to go log into my Steam, because I think that had like a play test that I opted into like while I was standing there in front of them, and it just automatically granted it to me. So
but yeah, that one's called Tethergeist. That one's called Tethergeist,
yeah.
Again, just for everybody. And it was Echoes of Mistralia was the roguelike, which is a sequel to a game that is already on the Switch. So I don't know exactly what the first game is called, but the sequel is called Echoes of Mistralia. And yeah, he was talking about like the tree where you can just start putting all your different power. Like it was pretty rad. Like it sold me on a roguelike. I'm like, okay, I could definitely play something like this. It was really cool.
Echoes of Mysteria. Yeah, I have that on my wish list.
Yeah,
because I just pretty much end up pulling up Steam and just wish listing stuff as I was going through.
Right. So yeah, so that was really great. A lot of cool indies there. As far as show floor stuff, they had it like you could demo Ace Attorney if you wanted to, which was just like, that's who's like people were screaming and objection the entire time.
And Anton, what's that game that's coming out? That the demo's on Switch. That was on the show floor at the mix, I think, too. The Pizza Tower, like I forget what it's called.
Oh, Anton Blast.
Yeah.
So we did go, like we said, with hands on with Monster Hunter. It was fantastic, super fun. That was a long line, and we didn't talk about it much. But Echoes, like Johnny, if you got any questions about Echoes, please feel free to ask. We went the first day and we stood in the lines, and on Friday, that's when we ran into Nintendo, and then they invited us to play Mario Party, but didn't have any spots available for Echoes. And so we had already played it once. Well, then they took us to the front of the line on Saturday to play it again. And we were able just to speed run and go as fast as we could. And so that was that's what got me. That's what's got me so hooked. I keep saying it on all the shows. Like I am so ready for this game. And I mean, probably how would you describe just the first like? I mean, we had a total of 15 minutes. So like, that first 15 minutes, like, what did it feel like for you?
It was kind of free form. Like I saw it like after the fact, and we got home, and some of the footage started coming out from people. I saw some people taking the box echo and boxing out the guards so they couldn't chase after them, and then they would run another way.
Mhm.
Like some people played it completely different than how you and I did, which was we kind of just brute forced, and in old school Zelda just snuck around the guards like you do when you're sneaking into Hyrule Castle in Link to the Past. Because it's kind of the reverse. You're trying to sneak out of the castle, then sneak in, and uh, I'm excited for just having this plethora of echoes that you're going to be able to kind of pull from, and kind of just create different ways. Like it does limit you not being able to make just an infinite path of beds to climb, because I'm assuming we're going to be able to build up just like you do heart containers and other stuff. The ability to have more echoes on the field at a time, but they consume a different amount of magic. Because I did see on some of IGN's coverage, like a more powerful enemy, you could only have one on the field at a time, versus you could have like 3 or 4 beds on the field. Then I also did see in one of the previews, because we didn't get to fight anybody in like a boss arena that was challenging, but with the bed, you can just throw it down and hop in and sleep and recover hearts.
Mhm.
Like there's gonna be so many different ways. I can't imagine QA testing this game. Like there's so many ways you could probably break something.
Oh yeah, no question. Like I think one of the
you only got to play 15 minutes.
Yeah, it was pretty much enough time. Most people would clunkily get through the dungeon, escape, talk to Impa. The Impa cutscene takes 2 or 3 minutes of your time, and then you end up on this beach, and that's about where you stop. And Josh and I kind of knew what we were doing, getting through the castle, got out to the beach, got through it, got to a village that you kind of need to go start talking to some people. But you get just a map like you do in Breath of the Wild, and it's like, go to this point, and it's kind of just find your way there.
Are you okay with the 15 minutes, John?
So I think it would be like, I'm excited for that game no matter what. I know I'm gonna get it. I don't need to play a 15-minute demo to know. I just feel like 15 minutes for like a game that's probably gonna be, pretty substantial is not that long of a experience.
So that was the forefront of their booth. They tiered people kind of moving through the booth. So they had probably 28 or so stations with Echoes of Wisdom, and then they moved you over to Mario Party, which was probably a 12 to 13 minute demo time that you get. So everything was kind of tiered to get shorter and shorter to move people through the Nintendo booth, because you got in and you played all 4 games that were there. So after Echoes of Wisdom, you played Mario Party with 4 people on pro controllers doing the daily challenge stuff. We can talk about that here in a little bit. And then you moved over to either a 4-person or an 8-person station playing Nintendo World Championships, which the second day we went and did it, the first day we played with just 4 people. The second day that we did it, we played with 8 on a larger, like 85-inch television. And that was the most fun I've had playing Nintendo World Championships.
Yeah, it was like when we played Heave Ho, John, like when we were, when we were all together.
That's what you're like that. I think that's what that game's designed for.
Yep. And they just don't give it to us online.
They could just give it online. Like that.
But yeah, Josh and I played it locally in the hotel room the night before, and we were even making comments while we were standing on the floor. I was like, this is a lot better than playing just the 2 of us, because you get X number of points if you're first to finish. And you're playing, so in the party mode, there's these predetermined kind of challenge groupings that kind of either have a theme or are like quick and easy or more challenging or Mario themed or Kirby themed or whatever. And It can be anywhere from like 3 to 5 or 6 different challenges. And whoever finishes first gets more points, and it can really get shaken up if you have a bad run and you place lower, and it can be a tight race to the finish just based on point total.
I want to go back to there's some comments in the chat about echoes, and Cryptic has one about what was the frame rate, because we know Link's Awakening wasn't the best running game, and it's the same art style. So did it seem like it was chugging at any point?
I don't think so. Not that I can remember. And I mean, it's not like we were doing areas that were super in like graphic intense. You know, it did not seem to chug though. No, it seemed like it was smooth, and it just
there weren't a ton of. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, there wasn't a ton of enemies. It wasn't,
Yep, that's what I was gonna say.
and so like, and I mean, this late into the game, I mean, obviously, we know the processor's been a little bit beefed up since the OLED and since Link's Awakening, right? If I remember correctly, that was like 2019 when Link's Awakening came out, or 2020, and so like I'm assuming they've probably got it a little bit more dialed, and it shouldn't be too much of an issue. That being said, like watching some of the longer trailers of Echoes, or in some of these previews, where you go into the still world and like stuff is turned sideways and you're using trees like stairs, like this game gets super creative, and that looks like there's a potentially a like there may be the kind of thing that, you know, we do see a little bit of chugging, because it looked like it was like it looked like it could be pretty graphic intense, just the way that the riffs look and whatnot. So, you know, I don't know if
Yeah, no,
that's
I'm super pumped for the game, and unfortunately, I think I saw that it leaked. So just FYI, people, there are probably spoilers out there.
that's like, this is why we can't have nice things. Like,
Yeah, I don't know why it leaked. I
mean,
always thought it was when they would like when it goes for preloading. I thought that's when people could get it, but you're a week out from that.
I mean, review copies are out there, but usually it's a mom and pop shop that usually accidentally sells a physical, because a digital one can't be played unless you have a specific download code from Nintendo as a review.
well, and that's been the case in the past, where reviewers have dumped the entire ROM onto the internet, and then it gets out there, unfortunately. So, a couple more things from chat here. Brian says, "Do you play Zelda in Echoes?" You do. You absolutely do. And Dapitsy?
Dapitsy. It's Dapitsy.
Dapitsy? Okay. Does Zelda have different skins? I don't know about skins, but it looks like you can change Zelda's outfits. So there are different. They show that in the trailers.
I was listening to, I think, Drip and G podcast, and they were talking about how it looks like there's going to be weather elements, kind of like how Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom have like cold and hot, cold and heat, and then I'm assuming the outfits are going to play into that you need a certain outfit to be warm, or to cool down, like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
One of the things I will say is, and Crawler, I'm curious on your thoughts on this too, but during the demo, you talk to Impa. Impa gives you a hood, and then you can kind of hide out from the guards that way. And you end up going down like in the dungeons kind of, and then you come back up and there's rifts, and Try or Tree or whatever that thing's name is says, yo, you gotta run. And so you take off, and you jump into this rushing water, and Zelda is not just like sitting there floating with the blank stare on her face. She's like kind of like flailing, and it very much gave the way Luigi feels very alive in Luigi's Mansion 3. She feels the same way in Echoes. It's not just like you're like kind of controlling these just like this, the lifeless pixels, if you will. It's like she feels like she's very much a part of the world. And it was those, like, I don't even know that I was really paying attention to it much when it was happening, but then looking back on it, I'm like, what were the moments that happened that like made this game like feel like, because I know it was only 15 minutes, but it was so those 15 minutes, it was almost like, I mean, getting to play it longer would have been amazing too, but that 15 minutes, like, not that I wasn't already sold, like you said, John, but being able to really just kind of understand the feel of the game, because remember when we first all saw it, we were like, is this even going to be that fun where you're just like trying to create these echoes? And it feels it I'll put it like this. Mario Wonder felt like the sequel we've always wanted to, like, Super Mario World, right? Super Mario Party Jamboree feels like the Mario Party we've been waiting for a very long time.
Yeah, the culmination of Super and Superstars coming together.
And Echoes of Wisdom feels like the top-down Zelda game that we've been waiting for since Link Between Worlds on 3DS, which was fantastic. And so I will be, I mean, I know there's going to be people out there that the game doesn't resonate with and whatever, but like I have a feeling the majority of Zelda fans are going to be so stoked about this game and are just going to love
they
it.
unveiled while we were at PAX, like, even if you're unsure about the not having a sword, there is a way to get that. It's on a limited timer. I think you have to earn the meter. Like, it's not just a recharge automatically. I think it's do stuff in the world, collect the little bits to refill this meter, but then you get a limited time to be Sword Fighter Zelda. But just the puzzle solving live in a dungeon, I think is going to be just so creative. It's faster and easier than kind of having to fumble around with Ultra Hand, because it's not in a 3D space. It's the same kind of menu. I'm hoping that there's going to be a way that you can favorite some of the echoes that you want to have quick access to, because I foresee that list getting quite extensive.
Like it did in Tears of the Kingdom. I feel like that got a little like obnoxious.
Yeah. I mean, you don't get to copy everything. It does have like a gold kind of sparkle on it that you can of the stuff you can copy. But even in the demo, by the time Josh and I got to that village, we probably had 15 echoes.
Give or take, yeah, probably about that.
Yeah. Because we had like a table, a bed, a box, a jar.
2 jars.
Yep. A rock, a slime,
The spikes.
yeah, spikes, a keys. There's a bunch of stuff, and like we didn't even get to like. I know in the dungeons you can like put out a keys and you can hold on to it and it can fly you across that. Like we didn't even get to really play around with that much to even see how that works, because I don't think there were any cliffs for us to try to jump off of or across or do anything. But it'll be exciting just to see the different puzzle solving.
One of the
All 4 of us might come to this podcast with different solutions to everything that we did.
Well, yeah, even hearing you talk about watching some people box out the guards so they couldn't, that area, the first time I went through, the person watching me was like, you better run, because I think we both got spotted by the same guard, and I happened to make it out the door, and then it didn't chase me through that doorway. And so, but it was like, it got my heart racing a little bit, I was like, oh, I'm gonna get caught, and I don't want to go back to that cell. So it has a very fresh yet nostalgic feel to it, and I think most fans are going to just absolutely love it. And we talked about it on the Nindy Prime podcast last night. Like, I really hope I hope we see the Triforce again, since they're calling it Echoes of Wisdom, and it feels like the game is more about, like, puzzle solving and using your wits and your knowledge and wisdom, if you will, like, to really just get to explore her character more. And I saw somebody in the chat last night was like, what is it, like, we've been playing as Zelda all along, what do you mean this is the first time we're playing as Zelda? So always those jokers. But Johnny, one of the most amazing things we saw that I think had us thinking about you was a graded first run of Pokemon Blue in the box that has an error and says it's
it was
red
a misprint,
on the back.
Misprint with red on the back.
And it was going for $26,000.
Oh, that's a bargain.
Yeah, because so we kind of glanced through all that stuff. They had like a Charizard card and all that kind of stuff, and we got to the front. And they had like a first edition Nintendo Power. They had a Chrono Trigger, like graded 9.4 or something like that. And I pointed to Josh. I was like, Josh, I think that's probably the most expensive thing in here. And he goes, well, how much do you think that is? And I was like, I think I said like 8 or 6. And you were like 3,000.
I said 25. I didn't know it was sealed. I thought it was just in the box. I didn't realize it was still had the cellophane on it. So yeah,
I think she said that one was worth like 9.
15,
and then,
right? Wasn't it 15?
Or no, 15. That's right. And then she's like, that's not even the most expensive thing here. And then she showed us over to the Pokemon Blue that was sealed and misprinted with red on the back.
Yeah,
$26,000.
Just wild.
Did you buy anything like that?
Like that? No.
Maybe not that expensive, but did you buy anything cool?
Crawler went to we went to Pink Gorilla, and we got he picked up some GameCube stuff. He got Rebel Strike and a demo disc.
Promo disc. So it's got the Vector game on this one.
From the arcades. Yeah.
We're bringing back GameCube single-handedly.
And Pink Gorilla had the guides and everything in it as well, so it's looking good.
Yeah, CIB, man, complete unbox. That's all you got. That's
what you need.
Yep.
I ordered some more off of GameStop, and it was supposed to get here today.
You don't always get a GameCube box with those either. Like, it comes sometimes.
I've been getting lucky.
I think my Rogue Leader case is just a black case that's
with their
not
print
GameCube disc side. Yeah. No, it does have the artwork in it, but it's where that copy is.
What'd you drop on about $40 on both those games, right?
Not even, like, it was like 32, I think.
Yeah.
Because it was 20 and 12, I think, for those.
So not
too bad.
Well, it's been a very interesting couple days in gaming, with the PlayStation Pro being announced and coming out at $700 price tag. And I see a lot of rhetoric about people, saying, like, there's no competition. That's why we're seeing this. Brian saying, get a second job. Like,
and technically it's not the most expensive if you adjust for inflation, but that doesn't
help. Jeff Keighley.
That doesn't help their case, because this PlayStation is just up there as the 2 most expensive consoles ever.
It is kind of crazy. The PlayStation 3, they launched it at $600.
Mm-hmm.
In what, 2006?
2006?
Yeah.
Well, and we were talking about like Neo Geo.
They were a year after 360, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, 360 was end of 2005. So yeah, they would have been end of 2006.
And they did tell people to get a second job.
They did.
in their release event.
What?
Yeah, I mean, $700 is a lot, There's no disk drive. There's no stand.
They're creating a run on their disk drives though. They're sold out everywhere.
Mhm.
But there's just this isn't for everybody, right? It's for
No, it's not for.
the hardcore fans.
Well, like we were talking about, there's very few people that have monitors or televisions that are even going to.
Yeah, who even has an 8K monitor?
So I think Wario64 retweeted CNET or something like that, and they did like market research, whatever. It's like only 25% of people have a variable refresh rate TV that can be at so to take advantage of the higher frame rate and the higher fidelity, people like only like 25% of people have a monitor or a TV that's capable of that. And most of those are probably monitors and not TVs. And it's not I feel like they're not going to sell a ton of these at all. Because the sizzle reel was all old games that you can.
It's all PS4, not even
mostly
PS5
play on
games.
PS4,
PS4 games. Ghost of Tsushima's in there. Like
Spider-Man was PS5.
I think they showed Ratchet and Clank. They did show Ratchet and Clank, but I think they showed Horizon.
But all they were doing is showing more people in the crowd at the end of the game. That doesn't. I guess that was the beginning of the game, is the parade thing. But
yeah, they dropped the ball on this. I think the dislike ratio, the like to dislike ratio, is like pretty bad on the trailer.
I think they did Nintendo a huge favor, because I think, I don't know, it was a random poll I think on Twitter today, but it's like, how much would you be willing to pay for a Nintendo console? The lowest option was like $400 and below. Nintendo's not going to release anything over $400. I don't see them doing that. And
we do have two SKUs, and the OLED Switch right now is $350. If the rumors are true, right? The rumors were that there was a digital and a physical. So the physical one could potentially be $450 if, like there is that possibility. I think.
Yeah, but PlayStation also
it's gonna be $399. Like, I think I don't know if they're gonna do two SKUs. They did that with the Wii U, and that did not work out well.
Mm-hmm.
They launched with two SKUs,
and this is just from those rumors from, back when, and I think that was maybe it had something to do with tracking parts and stuff. But anyway,
that 4chan, Johnny, the 4chan thing that you guys were going through,
the version 2.0.
All that was is just a wish list of people putting out what they hope and want, because all of it just seemed too good to be true. Like,
well, I mean, I think it was pretty safe, honestly.
It was very safe.
They're talking about a Mario game. They're talking about a Mario Kart game. Like, what Nintendo should have done, if I was Nintendo, I would have, saw what was going on with PlayStation and dropped the trailer revealing it, showing $399 price tag with a Mario Kart and a Mario. Like, they would have cooked Sony so hard.
And Elden Ring playable, like.
Yeah. If it was just with the Switch reveal trailer, they had like Skyrim and Breath of the Wild.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if it was just that, but with new Mario Kart, Elden Ring, like, they would have destroyed Sony. And what was funny is, I don't know what day that was. Wednesday? No, Tuesday. But the Switch 2 was trending that day. Like, they didn't even have to reveal it. PlayStation had them trend.
Can you imagine if Elden Ring pulls a Bethesda and puts the Hylian Shield into Elden Ring?
Oh, that would be awesome. Version?
You're going to buy it a fourth time anyway, so.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely buying it. I hope they do like a collector's edition.
But yeah, I mean, Xbox is coming out with that new version, right? But it's same price, right? Isn't that?
No, I think it's more expensive because it's more storage.
It's a 2 terabyte hard drive or something like that. Versus,
yeah, I think it's $100 more,
and it's all digital as well.
Is it?
Yeah, the new Xbox One. Yeah,
But
Guys,
that one doesn't increase power or anything.
but that didn't get hate like this is. Like,
Because nobody cares about Xbox. All right, nobody cares.
Xbox doesn't care if you care about Xbox.
About
Xbox wants you to
Xbox.
buy a subscription. So,
guys, our
PlayStation didn't show you any games either. That's the thing. They didn't sell this console.
They don't
to
have
anybody.
any games. They have Astrobot, and that's it.
well, and what Johnny said was that they showed PS4 games. We're watching Street Fighter right now, right? Or Marvel versus Capcom.
Mm-hmm.
This game finally got announced on Xbox, right? Like after there was like
Did it?
major backlash. Yeah, they put out a tweet or something saying it is going to be coming.
Xbox did or Capcom did?
Capcom did, I believe. And so, but what is this game coming out on initially? What on PlayStation? Do you guys know off the top of your head? PS4. Why this?
For the install bases.
But why this far into a generation are they still selling games on the PS4?
Because they have not sold anybody on this current generation. The developers haven't been able to take advantage of the hardware. The developers that are making stuff can't get it to run well. They're trying too hard to make games. Astrobot is a perfect example. It doesn't have to look photoreal. It looks great, but it's a cartoony kind of game. These games like Last of Us getting another upgrade for that's the second
they showed
iteration.
Last of Us again too.
Like, yeah,
oh my god,
we don't need to play that game again. Like,
we get it.
And everything. People in Nintendo world go after Pokemon Company for the trees, but nobody was complaining about the trees not looking great in Last of Us. Like, focus on and it's drawing out this development time, because Concord is a perfect example. They need to stop chasing trends when they're starting the game development, because the trend
well,
is
if they're chasing trends, they can't take 8 years to do it.
The trend is going to be gone by the time the game comes out. And make a game like Astrobot, like Nintendo does, and turn it around in 3 years, unless your game is Metroid Prime 4. But
I don't think Astrobot is selling well. From everything I've seen, it's not selling
because it's reviewing well, but it might not be selling well. I don't know what it's selling, but
it was like 12,000 copies in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is they don't have an install. It's a PS5 only game, right?
The PS5.
Yeah, I mean, there's 60 million PS5s out there.
There's a lot of PS5s.
How many are there?
60 million.
60 million.
Oh, okay, that's more than I thought they had there. But
like, for example, so Astrobot 3D platformer, it's essentially a Mario game. A Mario game in Japan sells like hundreds of thousands of copies in the first week, and you're only selling 12,000 in Japan. I don't
Mario
know if
Kart outsells anything in Japan still, like every week.
It was number 4 in Japan this week. I just did the numbers earlier today. So like my whole thought on this conversation is a little bit different from everybody else's, right? Like, where they're just like, the PS5 Pro literally sounds like, based on their marketing speech, is going to do what they promised the PS5 was going to do.
Yeah, and that's what pisses me off. Like, they were touting 8K.
I can go pull out my box. Yeah, it says 8K on the box.
And like 60 FPS or whatever, or better frame rates.
Yeah. And so, and the reason that you see people praising Astrobot is because it's not about seeing the every pixel on a flower and every little detail. It's about gameplay, and it's about having fun, right? And games have gone to a weird, like PlayStation games are in a weird, like, they started moving that direction in like the PlayStation 3 era, the PlayStation 4 era even more. And then now in the PS5, like Astrobot is a breath of fresh air, I think, for that whole community.
It's because we're primed up for another crash right now.
I went to so I've been playing Astrobot, and you collect a bunch of bots for their like older games, and it really made me want to subscribe to their premium service.
It's a big ass infomercial for
exactly.
for PlayStation
But
Premium.
so I was checking the catalog, and there are so many Ratchet and Clank games. There are at least 7 or 8. There's a bunch of Jack and Daxter games. There's a bunch of Ape Escape games. And then Sony just, I know people don't like Nintendo for like just abandoning some of their series, but Sony does the same thing. Like they just got rid.
You play a whole Ape Escape level.
Yes. Oh, that level is really good. I love that level.
So Cryptic says, isn't that what we were wanting a Switch Pro though? Better frame rate, etc. Why is the PS Pro any different? This is kind of my point, right?
Because the Switch has games.
I mean, you're not wrong, John. You're not wrong at all. But I think I think $700 to get you to what you, I mean, it's unfortunate for the PlayStation fan base that's like, I wanted this machine to do that. Like this generation has been so strange. The whole reason, when I saw let's see, PS2, let's see, there was a DePizzi or whatever. It's they said you can't tell me they're stopped selling Switch games when Switch 2 comes out. No, not my point at all. Why is the Street Fighter collection, like, when have we ever seen outside of Just Dance on the Wii a like, this game should say PlayStation 5 this far into the generation, right?
So well, I guess, I mean, it doesn't matter because PS5 is backwards compatible.
Right.
So it's sold as a PS4 game?
Yes, because I think there's confusion, because I think if they don't do that, then your PS4 like owners aren't going to be buying the game that says PS5. My point though is just that it's so bizarre that this far into the generation they haven't moved away. Like, you're talking most releases, especially third parties, are coming to the PlayStation 4. I mean, what Star Wars is even going back, the
Jedi Survivor.
Yeah, to be on Xbox One and PS4. And it's like, the only reason for any of this is because they're trying to recoup losses at that point, right?
117.2 million units sold versus 60 million.
Yeah. And
So-
It's the same reason why Switch 2 is going to be backwards compat, and they will still have Switch games come out. But if they're smart, they do the Xbox style marketing that says better on Switch 2. Like, because didn't Xbox do that for the longest time? Better on Series X or whatever.
Yeah, they have the little enhanced thing that they say. I don't think we want. Well, I mean, having a more powerful console is something that I want for Nintendo, but I'm more wanting a Switch 2 for the games. Like, we're not going to get a new Mario Kart. We're not going to get a new Mario until the Switch 2 comes out.
I agree.
Everything is so iterative now too. It's
unless it's Splatoon.
All the breakdowns that I was seeing of like Kind of Funny and IGN after, like immediately after, is they're like, this feels like an Apple presentation where it's iterative and it's the next thing. But the only mistake they made, PlayStation did not drop the price of the PlayStation 5. Like, and if any, like, and more recently, they just increased the price of the $5 of the controller. They increased everywhere outside of the US because they aren't going to bite the hand that pays the bills. But almost everywhere else in the world, they've increased the price of the console. Xbox has done the same thing too. And we're just in a weird spot. And these games get more and more expensive to produce. And and I mean, Xbox laid off a bunch of people. I think it was mainly support staff from Activision Blizzard today. So it wasn't game studio personnel, but it was support staff. But it feels like Xbox needs to rope in some of their support staff to be certification liaisons for console game makers, because a lot of these games not coming to Xbox seem to be because nobody's getting callbacks from their certification reps to get the game certified for Xbox.
I guess the other thing that, this is the mid-gen refresh. How much is a PS6 going to cost? Are we going to see $1,000 console?
That's too steep a price to get into a walled garden. Like,
but if there's no competition,
we're in a recession. I don't know. I don't know who this PS4 Pro is for. Who's it for?
The PS5, yeah.
The PS5 Pro, I mean.
It's for I don't know. It's for
what do all the
to make
what do all the
videos. But the problem is this stuff show. It doesn't show well on YouTube. Like none of that comparison crap looked any different.
No,
it's like Mark Cerny had to they had to circle stuff on the screen to be like, look at the faces in the crowd.
So much clearer now.
Yeah, the shadows are so much more.
But so save this, and I'll probably buy it. I do have two PS5s.
I was saying you retweeted GameStop said they're taking what, $410 for
$410, dude.
That's probably for a disc. Do you have a disc system?
I do have a disc. Yeah.
Okay, you could probably get rid of your disc system.
I looked at the receipt that guy had. It was the original. I don't have it's not the slim model.
I have the original with a disc.
It's the original with the disc. And pro members get an extra 10%, and then it's an extra $25. In total, $400. I might do it because I don't use that one really.
It's just there doesn't feel like there's any justification for this right now, right? When you're telling me that this late into the generation, we're still seeing games come out on PS4. It's like what I know there are PS5 games that did not come to PS4, but
not many though. There's really not many.
No, and
really, I just googled it. There are 9 major PS5 exclusives. Hold on, that's planned. So hold on, let me try to find.
So there's Ratchet and Clank, Returnal, Demon Souls
Astrobot.
Remastered, Astrobot, Spider-Man 2.
Is God of War?
No, God of War's on PS4.
I'm on Reddit. This is from 5 months ago. Astro's Playroom, Demon Souls, Destruction All-Stars, which that game's dead on arrival as well.
Don't forget Concord.
Foam Stars,
Final Fantasy 16, Spider-Man 2, Last of Us 2 Remastered. That doesn't count.
No. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, I think. Is
Rebirth, Rise of the Ronin, Stellar Blade. So, and then Astrobot now. So, maybe a handful.
After 4 years. Thing's been out for 4 years. You get
Astro's Playroom and Demon Souls were launch.
Yeah, Astro's Playroom was a pack-in. That doesn't count.
It's a tech demo. Destruction All-Stars was a free
game.
It was a free game they had to give away that nobody plays anymore. Final Fantasy 16, I think, was one of the bigger flops of the Final Fantasy franchise.
Yeah, that's why they're doing it, because they can't recoup their money.
Rise of the Ronin, I think, was well received, but I don't think was well purchased.
I don't think it was well received. I don't think people like that game.
Really? I thought it got decent reviews. And then Stellar Blade had mixed reviews. But
as somebody who's not in that ecosystem, why would I buy the Pro for such a small amount of games than just to play, essentially upscaled PS4 games?
If you don't have a PS5, I could see if you don't have a PS5 or a PS4, maybe.
I'm playing
You just
everything
get the
still on a
PS5
1080p
Pro.
monitor. Like it, I need to
Yeah.
upgrade my monitor more so than I need to upgrade my system.
It's
Yeah, then
just
you also
this-
have to get the disc drive
And
if
a
you want to play
stand
your
for
physical games.
and a stand if you wanted to stand
So it's an
upright.
$800 console.
And then taxes. It's a $900 console.
go,
Ugh.
go buy it in Oregon.
There's no sales tax.
And right there in chat, games are just too difficult to make? ? And that's kind of the other part of this conversation is that like did everybody just bite off more than they can chew? Like did these consoles come out before they, like how 4K 60 was kind of a new 4K 120 was kind of like PC's been doing that, right? But I mean, even
A beefy rig was doing that. Like,
a beefy rig.
A lot of these games don't work well on PC.
But when did 4K monitors even become a thing? That's not until relatively recent. That like 4K gaming monitors. That's not even. Those aren't even that old.
Yeah,
right.
Because COVID time was like the 2K, the 1440 kind of monitor was big, and then yeah, and if you want a 4K monitor with a decent refresh rate, like you're paying a ton.
Yeah, and so it's. I don't know. It's the thing that's so bizarre to me is that we've sat here and gone game after game, and it's like, this one can only do 30 FPS, or this one's only runs 1080p, and it's just like there were so many like go back and watch when the Xbox was announced and the PS5. Like this has got to be the one of the strangest generations in gaming ever. You've got Nintendo that we're playing on a probably close to a 10-year-old Kindle, with games that will do 60, 1080, 60, like Mario Kart and stuff. They definitely can. And then you have these, you have people saying, oh well, they're the baby games and I want to play, but like their machines can't even run what a lot of the, to be at the fidelity and the FPS. Like
the other thing on top of that too, 300 400 gigs on a 1 terabyte hard drive, you're having to, it's not so much that you are limiting yourself in your games, it's your console is telling you you can only have 2 games on your system. Otherwise you need to delete it or put it in cold storage and go re-download something.
You could buy an SSD. There's another $200.
$200. Yeah. I mean, I saw a Wario64 tweet today that was for a 8 terabyte SSD for $1,000. I was like, oh my god!
Put that in your PS4 Pro, and you could have spent $2,000 on a. You could have just spent $2,000 on
console
a
gaming.
Go buy a PC.
Console gaming is supposed to be the accessible one, right? It's supposed. It's not supposed to be PC.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just like
I think PlayStation did Nintendo a favor. I think they're poised to come in and still sell well this Christmas, and then come out strong in this supposed Switch 2 you were talking about earlier this week, Josh. Possibly a March release next year. Like they could come in swinging and just take it over with a more affordable console with a fresh take on games. Like that's the thing. These consoles don't have games to sell them.
No.
If Monster Hunter comes out on Switch 2, then I mean, if it runs,
that game has to come out on Switch 2. There's no way it's not coming out on Switch 2.
Yeah.
What we saw was good looking. So I mean that was.
Yeah, but I guarantee you it's coming to PS4.
It's RE engine, so they can scale it. They proved that with Rise.
the thing that what I think Nintendo is setting up to do, like, I know there's a lot of people, a lot of chatter online. There's even some, analysts and, industry insiders and stuff that say that there's a potential Switch 2 announcement next week, right? Seems a little odd to do that a week before Zelda, a little bit.
Yeah,
And
does seem odd.
and they are also ramping up with 5 potential Switch bundles coming out for this holiday season, including a Mario Wonder and 2
Oh yeah,
Switch
they
Lights.
just revealed.
Was that confirmed for Australia or something? I saw.
Yeah, Mario
earlier
Wonder. That
today.
one's confirmed for Australia, so I'm assuming it's coming here. It's just a white OLED.
Yeah,
There's
it's just the game is free essentially. You're getting the game for free, but what Nintendo is
they move consoles.
They do but Nintendo with all of that software could now say player's choice $40. Like now they've like, who's not gonna go and buy a Switch? I mean, think about it. Okay, the PlayStation 5 Pro, $700. I can go. The games drop to $40. Let's say for these player's choice 40. I'm just assuming you could buy a console, some controllers, and a handful of games for $700. $800 if you want the disc tray and the stand. And I know that the system's probably, is it even announced for this year? I didn't even see the release date.
Yeah, it's November.
PS5 Pro?
Yeah.
Is November. Yeah. So
November 7th or something.
So Nintendo could eat their lunch just by saying, look, you can get our console and 5 games for the same price as one console with no games, That's saying something. So
I am so hypocritical because I said, like, who's this console for? And then I'm sitting on 6 Switches over here, about to get a 7th one.
And a Steam Deck and
a Steam Deck. Well, no, it's.
Did you buy the PlayStation Portable thing?
Yeah, I did. I bought the Portal.
Like it's how much dust is caked on that thing. Yeah, I also have a feeling Nintendo is going to, because they've already said they're going to be doing the launch of the next console different than what we've seen in the past. And so my gut feeling is they're going to essentially write the book on how to move from console generation to console generation. And I think they're showing firsthand that, like, we're like, if they come out and do even 1440 at a solid 60 for the majority of their games, or a 1080 at 120,
1080 screen and handheld.
For the thing is, though, if you think about, like, size wise, 1080 and 720, I don't know that your eye is going to pick up too much difference on something that small.
Well, just make sure it's an OLED then.
There we go. Yeah. That's
the rumor is that it's not. So
yeah, I don't think it is. I think it's LCD.
Yeah, because they'll get the upsale in a year when they say, here's the Switch 2 OLED, or 2 years. So Taco Monkey says, I want Nintendo to pull a PS1 Sony so bad when they announce the Switch 2 and just casually walk up to the mic and say $399. Yeah, remember, that was the PS4 Xbox One days, right? When they walked up.
Nintendo could also pull a Sony and be like, oh, do you want to borrow my game on Nintendo? Here you go. And do the handoff again.
Right. Yes.
Everyone's digital now.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think Nintendo is in the one of the best places, because they can do these games that, not that they've always done the best. I mean, Pokemon is an example of, like, yo, this is not great. Johnny, you were talking about Link's Awakening chugging, right? Like, there's still hiccups along the way, but I feel like for the most part they have over delivered. in a lot of ways versus saying, "Oh, we're gonna give you that." Like they've not talked about like even like they were compressing stuff to clay to get it to run on the Switch, like Doom and Mortal Kombat and all that kind of stuff. Like I I don't think there were a lot of promises made like what Microsoft and PlayStation did with these systems supposed to be like, bleeding edge, and it's like you can't you can't give me a bleeding edge game if you're still making it for your last generation console. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. And so hopefully Nintendo is paying very close attention to what's been going on and either does two SKUs with their games and says, you guys can do cross play, but your Switch 2 early adopters are going to be getting the best graphics, best frame rate. And if you're still on Switch, have fun. We can keep selling to that massive install base. And, hopefully things can just cross play can take place that way. But then at the same time, do they hamstring themselves from trying to move new consoles if the new games like it is it is an absolute cluster in my mind when you start trying to figure out how to go about changing consoles in this generation. Especially when a lot of people want backwards compatible. So,
Cryptic in chat is talking about Nintendo not. He's like, is Nintendo selling their console for a loss now? I don't think they ever have. And if Switch successor is going to be PS4, Xbox One as level graphical fidelity, you can definitely build that system for under at $300 and sell it for a profit.
well, we have to remember Nintendo is not they are not immune from trying to sell stuff at a price that was too high. Look at the 3DS, right? And then having to backpedal on that. And
Yeah,
you would
give
think
me some ambassador games again.
ambassador goodies, yeah. And the thing that the thing that I think is probably that's surprising most everybody is that like literally we're watching in a sense watching history repeat itself with what Sony did with the PS3 to now this PS5 Pro. And it's like
Xbox should be pushing something out quick if they want to get ahead of that.
I just don't know that they care. I don't know that they care. They can't seem to move consoles, and when they really put everything on PC, it's like
Yep.
that's kind of the place to play Xbox games, either that or on Game Cloud or on the Xbox Game Cloud handheld. And so
just keep making that technology better so that the input latency gets better.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. So I don't know. Interesting. It's just I feel like we've said it so many times during these shows. It's just an interesting time in gaming because we just what do you do? Like how do they move forward? And how does
one of these weeks hopefully we finally see the reveal.
Yeah. And
make good games. That's how they move forward and be profitable. I mean that nobody's made games that everyone is system sellers. It's all just rehashing stuff and chasing trends from 8 years ago.
Yeah. Cryptic says, when do we think Switch 2 reveal is? Do we think it's still this year? I mean, we know it's this fiscal year.
Yeah.
I
still think that January window fits so well with the Switch originally. Like we knew it was coming, but we didn't have the details.
Yeah.
And then the quick turnaround, the 2-month kind of rollout was good.
I think they can still do it. A lot of people are saying this month. I think they could still do it this month. As long as it's backwards compatible, they could just be like, you could play Echoes of Wisdom on it. You could play Mario Party Jamboree on it.
With ray tracing?
That cannibalizes that light being sold. I mean, a little bit.
I don't know. Like that's for collectors though.
Yeah. You have that pre-ordered, right?
Yeah. I don't know who's still
They had it
buying
at PAX,
Switches.
but they didn't have it on the floor. I think they had it behind closed doors for the press.
I
wonder
don't
if they'll launch a special edition console.
No.
for the first run.
Yeah, for like if they
Oh,
have a Mario
like a launch-
Kart
like
like
a
a launch
launched
title.
edition. I mean,
I don't think
kinda
Mario
cool
Kart
when
will be a
Xbox-
launch title.
That was kind of cool when Xbox did Project Scorpio, though, with the
Oh yeah, they did do that, but it was just like a
that was a mid refresh though for the One
1X.
1X.
The Xbox One X.
I think there's gonna be a 3D Mario launch title, and then Mario Kart will come out launch window.
If we can have a year like 2017 where it's banger, 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 banger every month, like that would be awesome.
They have to be sitting on it. Like they have to be sitting on these games. There's no way. It's been 10 years.
I don't disagree with you on that point, but I don't know if you think about it, they have definitely seen this generation how well selling these game specific consoles, like we saw an Odyssey console, we saw like, I'm wondering if they don't wait on those games just for the opportunity to sell more consoles because they're
They need to do a
tied to
better
those
job with
games.
those, though.
With the Mario
They were-
ones,
they were-
Odyssey
They were
was
crap special.
I think Odyssey was
Yeah.
fine, but like then it went downhill. But I mean, Smash had its own console, Splatoon
Yeah.
3 had its own console, Odyssey had its own console. I think
Fortnite did.
I mean,
Diablo did.
Diablo
or no,
did.
Monster
Yeah,
Hunter,
Diablo did.
Diablo,
Monster Hunter did.
Pokemon, Let's Go, Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. We played on that at PAX. Like,
Bring back the 64 style thing where we got a character just popping out of the console.
there you go. Yeah, but I mean, the thing is that like they know they can move more consoles even to early adopters if they come out with these cool special editions. So it like I hope there's a Mario at the beginning, a 3D Mario. It's been long enough. Like it's really been long enough. So
Was Sunshine a launch? No, Sunshine wasn't a launch title for GameCube. Was 64 the last launch title on a console?
Yeah, because Galaxy didn't come out until a couple years later. Mario
Sunshine
3D
was later.
World.
Sunshine was later. It was Luigi's Mansion.
Odyssey, it was a launch
Odyssey
window.
was 10.
Or-
It was 7 months after release.
Mhm. But you know that game had to have
That's the
been done.
closest.
There wasn't technically a 3D Mario after Galaxy, right? Like 3D World, kind of, but
Yeah.
that's I don't know.
Yeah, I mean they were letting Breath of the Wild breathe on that one.
And Wii U launched with New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe or whatever.
Yeah, the 2D Mario.
Yeah. Cryptic's asking after the review Josh did with that Switch grip. Switch 2 needs those Hall sticks. Yes.
Yes, they need the Hall sticks.
Every controller made from now going forward needs to have that.
Yeah, no question. And if you guys want to pick them up, they are on my TikTok shop. This grip here, it is fantastic. And Crawler and I were playing it in we had to stand in line one day because we had some misinformation, and
Capcom lied to us.
we were noticing that the trigger wasn't you weren't able to hold the items in Mario Kart. Well,
Correct.
you can turn every button into a turbo button. So when you hold it down, so I found out that's why it was releasing and not
cheating.
just so you can make every button a turbo button if you want with this grip. So but yeah, definitely needs the drift. It can't be a thing. Cannot be a thing.
Oh, and Josh is I played on Josh's Switch. Josh is a fake Mario Kart fan. He has not 3-starred all the 200cc races. So TikTok needs to hold him accountable for that and make sure he
I just
does
saw
the
your
grand-
hours. It's like 1,200 hours, and he didn't do that.
Well, I've already
Make
done
sure-
it once.
make
I
sure
did it
Josh
on Wii U.
finishes the Grand Prix.
I did it
200
on,
cc
Not on the
wasn't Wii U.
DLCs. Not on the DLCs. 200cc was on the Wii U.
yeah.
Oh, was it?
It came out with a DLC.
Yeah, it was DLC.
I don't own that game.
And
Wow,
I'm the
you're the
fake
fake fan.
fan. All right, guys. Well, we thank you so much for hanging out with us live. I saw questions that we're going to be back on YouTube live. Basically, there's just the software that we typically used is not. I've been working with the company on the back end. It's not working, so I'm literally just going with OBS right now in order to.
It was a slideshow. You guys wouldn't have enjoyed it.
Yeah, my footage, my camera, and my gameplay just for some reason is not. Even last night I was on the Nintendo Prime podcast and my video was choppy the whole time, just being in restream. So I don't know where we're gonna land, where we're gonna end back up just quite yet, just because I'm not sure what our some of our solutions are at the moment. So they also want to know where's the chip, Johnny? Where's the chip? The new game's coming out this month.
There will be an update very soon. All right.
Because you own a game that came out this year from Nintendo, right? Hold it up.
Yeah, but I haven't played it though.
That doesn't matter.
I don't have to eat the chip until I play a game.
The stakes keep changing. I love it. So, well, thanks again, guys.
I will have an update very soon.
Okay, that's good. I can't wait to watch you eat it for an entire hour. It'll be glorious. Be glorious. So, appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for listening, and we will see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.